does. I think that's all we've got in common. I'd like something more. I think it's there. It's bringing it to the surface that's difficult. So that's all we've got.
Hello, Emma. Janet. Wonder if I could have a quick chat.
Well, make it brief, Ken.
Well, it's about this De Spitzer stuff. You don't seem too enthusiastic.
Yes, well, that's because I'm not. It wasn't my idea, it was Polly's. And in my opinion, mail order and haute couture do not go together.
Oh, I see. Well, that explains why Polly came to the yard looking for storage space. I mean, if I'd known your feelings, I would have rung you. Anyway, have a nice lunch.
I always did know when Ken was lying. Was he? Oh, he knows exactly what Polly's up to.
So why aren't you delighted? You should be really proud of yourself.
I think my success has been ever so slightly manufactured, Charles, by my grandfather.
Oh?
Yes, to keep my spirits up in the face of the great visit from Hudson.
Yes, of course. When's he coming?
End of next week. Edna wants me to put a reception supper on for him. Here, can you believe it?
Well, let me know if I can be of any help.
With the cooking?
You'd be surprised. I'm a dab hand in the kitchen. I meant with Hudson himself.
If I need any help, you'll be the first I ask.
Is that a promise?
It's a promise.
What did you mean just now about manufactured success?
When I got back here last night, there was a man from the Messenger.
With a contract in his hand?
Well, he wants to do a book of photographs with a text, but somehow he didn't seem that keen. And it turns out that the owner and your father are old cronies, of course.
We all need a bit of help to start with, Abby. Real Test is staying there.
Yes, but it's the idea of being manipulated from up the drive. I know he means it in the best way, but
Yes, yes, I know those doubts only too well.
How did you handle it?
Badly. Still do.
Still?
Oh, yes. He hasn't given up interfering in my life. And I loathe it.
They have what I'd call an honesty about them, don't you think?
Yes. Yes, they have. I'm very surprised. I've always wondered where her talents lay. And it was here, catching people in their most revealing moments.
Thank you for the flowers.
Does that mean we're back on good terms?
That means thank you for the flowers.
Jan, do you think we could go somewhere and talk?
Well, now you've discovered what a clever daughter you have, why don't you finish the exhibition and then we can go back to my office.
Thank you, I'd like that.
I'll see you later.
You could earn yourself quite a reputation with this, mate. Why aren't you pleased with it?
I just wonder if you know how strong some of this stuff really is. Or worse still, how a desperate editor could get hold of it and blow it out of all proportion.
Yes, well, I appreciate your feelings for Sir John Stevens, but we have to ask ourselves a simple question. Was he to blame for the loss of all that money or not?
I'm in favour, yes, more than no.
I'd definitely say yes. So get back to your word processor.
It'll break him, Ken. And I reckon he's just the first in a long line of dominoes. Others could suffer, if we've got it right.
But half the people you mention here are dead. The other half are so rich.
It's just one side of the story, mate.
You're not getting cold feet, are you?
It's not just my feet, mate. I was under the impression this was a joint venture. You providing the material, me writing it and adding it up.
And it worked. Even though there wasn't a beautiful woman involved.
Well, that's where you're wrong. There is a woman involved.
Oh?
His wife. She died when Van Ouden was setting it up.
Who told her that?
What difference does that make? Well, Sarah told me, but even we can't argue with dates, Ken.
Sarah Foster's by. She works for Stevens,
No.
Mike. Speaks out for him, protects
Look, for all
him.
we know, he could have been in a state of grief or confusion or something, I don't know. And I can't see myself kicking a bloke who's already down, and I can't see you doing it either.
She's been dead for years, Mike.
And he's never married again. Look, well, no one can say he wasn't eligible. He had power and position. Youth was still on his side. 37 million quid, mate. That's all we're talking about. Whereas he lost his wife.
Do you know something, Mike?
What?
You've just gone up in my estimation. 100%.
Don't tell me you're agreeing with me.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We couldn't possibly do it to him.
Well, I have decided what to do about Die Spitze, Polly. For a nominal fee, you can buy the franchise from Periplus and set up on your own.
We'll be in competition, darling, surely.
Hardly. We're aiming at different markets. There's room for both of us. Are you off, ladies? Right. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow. Night.
Yes, well, there's only one problem. Die Spitze awarded the franchise to Periplus, not to me.
For a trial 3-month period only, with which I'll bear. Thereafter, it's all yours. And you can operate Die Spitze from here, if you like, as long as it doesn't get in my way.
But who'll manage the boutique?
You will, Polly.
But you'd like me to go when the franchise runs out?
I don't want to stop you being your own boss.
Own boss? Oh, it sounds a bit frightening.
Yes, yes. It can be in many ways. Let me give you a piece of advice. Work out who your enemies are, then who your friends are, and trust neither.
Found what you were looking for?
Some of it.
Makes interesting reading, doesn't it?
I hadn't got that far.
Who's it for? Charles Fryer.
It's not for anyone.
Oh, I see. You're trying to protect Sir John Stevens. Save him from the vicious tongue of the press. Well, it's too late.
I think Sir John can look after himself.
Why are you stealing from me, then?
The one I'm concerned about is Michael Hanley. You've conned him into believing that you're both doing the world a favor, that this is going to be his big break as a journalist.
Mike Hanley hadn't got the stomach to carry it through. He copped out earlier today.
Well, good for him. But if you get this published, it'll still be under his name, not yours.
Oh, don't you worry about him. He'll do very nicely out of it.
He'll be destroying someone who's done him no harm whatsoever, Ken!
Sarah, I don't believe you. Mike Hanley can look after himself. No, you're working for Charles Fair, who wants this to put pressure on Sir John Stevens.
No.
Oh, yes. Well, just you telling me that I got there before him, eh? What happened to all those articles? The press cuttings, eh? Everything you were looking for? Do you know where they all are? They're in Sir John's bank.
You always were so clever, Ken.
You know, I knew it would be you in here. I'd like to say I caught a whiff of your perfume, Sarah, and it brought heady memories flooding back. But no.
Memories of lying, cheating, deceiving.
Door open. No alarm ringing. The one thing I forgot to ask you for when you quit. The keys.